Good
Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
Welcome to Walk With Us Wednesday. Hope you guys are walking with us. We are excited today. We have some food for thought. We've been thinking a lot about food as we kind of
As we
always
always
do.
We do.
But now we've been thinking about it in a more well-together way, and we've discovered, as we kind of all know, but we have more in-depth information as to how food can help your mood. So with that in mind, we have some really great tips and
We do.
information about not only what are good things to eat, but why to increase our mood. So let's give our brains a boost and our moods a boost and eat the right things. So
Well, and it's funny because we all kind of know that eating certain foods makes us, obviously we know it's good for our physical health, and we also know we tend to feel better when we're eating well. But we don't necessarily know the specific scientific reasons why, because there actually are very specific physiological processes that go on in our bodies when we eat certain foods. And interestingly, the same foods that are good for your physical health are good for your mental health, which I guess it's not that surprising, right? Because our minds and our bodies are so interconnected, as we know. So in terms of when you think about foods that make you feel good, like that boost your mood, it's not just about feeling guilty because you ate that whole bag of chips. Chips are
clip
kind
the
of my
chips.
thing.
Clip the chips.
Or the extra piece of cake, and you feel it's bad for you, and you feel guilty, and you feel bad. It's beyond that. There's more and more research recently that they're doing to show kind of what happens in our brains when we eat certain things, and there's lots of evidence that it can actually create or worsen or improve mood disorders. So things like processed foods and refined sugars, for example, we all know those are bad for us, and we all know they're addictive. And they're not just addictive because they taste so good, although they do, but what they're doing to our brains is they are stimulating the dopamine production centers in our brains. So foods like that kind of they go right to the dopamine, and that is it gives us this pleasure reward response. So that
It does.
It does, but it stimulates. So, the reason for that is because it stimulates dopamine production in the brain, and that's what the dopamine is the thing that is the neurotransmitter that kind of sends messages through the nerves. So it's that again, that pleasure reward response.
And dopamine is good in a lot of ways.
Dopamine is great, but we need to produce it ourselves, naturally. So The thing with these foods that are stimulating the dopamine production is they're making a lot of it. So we're kind of our bodies start to need a lot of it, right? And then when we don't have them, then we crave them.
Right.
Because it's almost like our bodies say, "Oh, you're getting it this way, so I don't need to make it because you're getting it this way." And then you start eating more of those foods.
Oh gosh, so okay, that is not.
So it's
that's
a vicious
not what
cycle.
that's not what we want.
Right. So you crave
Gosh,
it.
I never thought of it that
I
way.
didn't either, and I just find it so helpful to know, to understand what's really going on. It's not just that you're weak, although maybe I am a little bit weak when it comes to certain foods, but it isn't just about that. There's actually a reason that you are craving those foods. And then the craving, you eat them and you think, well, okay, I ate them and I'm all set, but the craving will come back because your body now is kind of conditioned to need those foods to produce dopamine.
Gosh darn it.
Isn't it awful?
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it's
sucks.
kind of like a drug in a way.
Yeah.
Which is, how actual drugs, like illicit drugs, can work.
Right.
So
They
food is
they
a
prey
drug.
on us. They prey on us. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we know why some of those things are bad for us.
Yes.
So what or why they're addictive.
Mm-hmm.
So what are things that are good for us? Like what should we, the
Yes.
what, when, all of that.
Yeah, the what and the why.
The what and the why.
Because we talked about there's the what, there's the why, there's the where, there's the how, there's even the who. Not who you eat, but who you eat with. So all those question words pertain to food, and so we're going to get into that over. I think we're going to spend definitely next week and maybe even the week after talking about some of this stuff.
Yes.
Because it is really important, and there's so much to it that we can't really tackle it all today. So yes, we are focusing on the what,
The
and
what
the why.
and the
What should we eat?
what should we eat for our mood today?
Today?
So we're gonna give like top.
Instant gratification.
Yes, kind of.
Well, I'm sorry to say, if you want instant gratification, you probably want to eat those processed foods in the cake. But that is not
But
going
for
to
our
help you in the
long-lasting
run.
mood,
It is
we'll get a little more concrete.
So things. We know fruits and vegetables, and we'll kind of list them and then get into what they do for us.
Perfect.
Vegetables, especially the leafy greens, and cruciferous, like
Yes.
broccoli and Brussels
Yes.
sprouts, avocados, salmon. So the omega-3s, the good fats, the unsaturated fats like an olive oil. I already said avocado, right?
Yes.
Walnuts are incredibly good, and most nuts and seeds like chia seeds, and what's the other seed? Flaxseed. Flaxseed.
Yeah.
I've been putting flax seeds into my smoothies.
Well, it's super helpful with nuts and seeds. I read one study that says that if you eat a lot of that, you're 23% less likely to have depressive symptoms.
I think I saw that too.
Which is like, that's amazing.
It's
so
huge.
even if you're not thinking that you might even be subject to depression, might as well have a handful of nuts or add flax seeds and ward off bad spirits.
Ward it off, but also, so if it can ward off depression, it can also boost your mood.
Right.
So whether you're
a
depressed,
genius. See, you
That's
just
why I
went
like
right.
you.
You went right for that astute inference that I didn't link.
Yes, that was brilliant. So yes, but also like beans, legumes, even coffee. Many of you will be
Oh my
really
God!
happy
I know.
to
I was so excited to see coffee on the list. It validated my habit like nobody's business.
Yeah, no, coffee and dark chocolate, which I think most of us know. That's some of us. That's our go-to, right? When you're
Yes, but knowing
mood.
that it actually.
But it really does.
I know. How does dark chocolate work? Again, I don't remember.
So dark chocolate. Let me see.
I think
that one.
I think that one might be one of the ones that it increases your serotonin production,
Thank you.
which I know
Yes.
you're going to get more into too.
Yes. And not just serotonin, but the other neurotransmitters, the dopamine, the norepinephrine.
Yes, all those good feel-good
Yes,
chemicals.
all of them. And GABA, that's gamma and amino butyric acid.
Oh wow, okay.
GABA.
GABA.
So all of those
GABA,
things
GABA.
actually get stimulated from eating these foods, including dark chocolate, and boost your mood. So in the short term, but also in the long term.
Yay.
Even
Okay.
more importantly.
So I'm happy now. I've had my avocado, my coffee, and my fruit.
Have you already had avocado?
No, but in my mind, I have. Right? So these are all things I love, right? So I'm having my avocado, my coffee, my fruit, throw in,
Yes.
I don't know, a handful of nuts or something, or adding flaxseed
Adding flaxseed to your kale smoothie
to my, exactly.
with a banana, because bananas are one of those super happy foods.
Well, that's another one that I'm so glad to see all the actual evidence on, because I've been preaching bananas to my kids, myself, my family for years. I just know that a banana helps you feel better. It's calming.
It does.
It
But
is grounding.
Do you know bananas? So in addition to, having the vitamins that stimulate some of those neurotransmitters, bananas are actually really important for your gut health.
Yes.
So I was going to get into that a little later, but we can talk a little bit about it, because your gut health is really important for your brain and mood functioning. Your brain and your intestines are directly connected by a nerve. The vagal? No, it starts with a V. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't want to get too technical, but there is a nerve that connects the intestines to the brain, and so they both kind of rely on each other to function optimally. So foods that improve your gut health, definitely bananas.
What
yogurt?
Oh, yes,
pepper,
anything fermented foods.
So kimchi. What else?
I don't know. When one of my kids saw that list, she was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yes.
pickles!"
Yeah, I know. Pickles.
She's
I
like,
love
"Yay!
pickles.
This is a great reason." And I mean, this is just a total aside, but she said that she saw this pickled salsa that we have to get.
Oh,
That sounds pretty good. So a salsa with pickles, doesn't it sound
I
kind of
love
good?
salsa and I love pickles.
Well, so now we can add that to,
like that.
that's got some fermented
There you go.
foods and fruits in it.
There you go.
Anyway, sorry about
Anyway.
that. Okay, so
We are going
So
to be sharing
fermented-
recipes
yeah, so
this week.
so fermented
Yes.
food like yogurt.
Yes, fermented and oops. It's very windy here.
It's windy, and I'm sorry if you see that I keep walking into trees.
So like I said, I was talking about the gut and the brain
Yes.
and the connection. So this is a crazy, crazy fact that I learned just doing research for this talk. 95% of our body's supply of serotonin,
Yeah.
which is one of the neurotransmitters responsible for mood, is produced by the good bacteria in your gut.
Which is
Like
crazy.
I don't even know how
That's crazy.
works, because you would think it's all happening in your brain, but there is such a connection that, yes, produced by the good bacteria in your gut. So eating those foods that promote the good, healthy bacteria that's the link in terms of your mood. Like if you're producing more, enough or more serotonin, that's going to boost your mood. And then interestingly too, like if you are under stress, your brain is, you're worrying and you're feeling a lot of stress, that actually suppresses the production of the good bacteria in your gut.
Jeez.
So they kind of work, back and forth, which I thought was really interesting. I just know that my daughter and I have started drinking a probiotic drink every day. She has some stomach issues, and, I've always heard that it's good for you, so I just kind of got on board with it.
Yeah, why not?
But I find it really helpful to know specifically why. I think the more information you have
right.
about those like the science behind it, I think really motivates you even more, as opposed to just thinking, well, it's good for me, I'm going to drink it. No, this is the reason.
Right.
So I think that really helps.
Well, it makes you feel a little more purposeful in your decisions, and I mean, to know why you're doing something is always.
It's more motivating. The more information you have, the better decisions you can make, right?
Absolutely.
But I really want to talk about omega-3s.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about omega-3s. Salmon jumps right.
Salmon.
And I know you mentioned it just briefly a little bit earlier, but salmon. And oh my gosh, we have a really good friend that lives in Costa Rica that he eats salmon because he loves it, I think, mostly. But like any time you can possibly eat salmon, he adds salmon to everything.
I love salmon.
Well, yeah, and you love Costa Rica.
And I love Costa Rica.
Well, so I don't know if you ever met our friend. We'll have to.
No, I haven't met him, but I've heard a lot about him.
Yeah.
And the Costa Rican diet, well, I should say Costa Ricans are among the healthiest population in the world. And it has to be their diet, right? All the fish and the fruits and the vegetables. But yes, the salmon, because of the omega-3 fatty acids, are just hugely beneficial to you. So and for your heart and your brain. So the same things that benefit your heart benefit your brain. And those omega-3s can really, I mean, they're actually doing a lot of studies on how they influence mood disorders. And they have found really promising results. It's still kind of new, and there's still more studies that need to be done, but the impact, I think, that they have found the most clear connection with has been women with postpartum depression.
Oh,
so
interesting.
It has shown really good results helping women with postpartum depression. So omega-3s, and it also just helps you overall. And there are lots of
oops, dog poop alert.
There are lots of different ways to get omega-3.
Okay, so how else? Because I know salmon is like the first thing that jumps to mind, and I don't eat salmon.
I know.
So I'm hanging my head in shame.
Like fatty fish like mackerel and things like that, which I know you don't eat. But walnuts have a lot. I believe avocados, olive oil, things like that. It's the fatty, the unsaturated fats. Even canola oil.
Okay.
Can supply that.
Okay. And what about plant-based?
Right.
Omega-3s. I know that's a big question.
It is a good question because they're not all omega-3s are not created equally.
Right.
So although the walnuts and the avocados and the olive oil have omega-3, they don't have I believe it's the DHA and let me just check, because it was so important I made a note.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Yep. Oh. It's the DHA and the EPA, which is, I'm going to try to say it, I can't say it. Eicosapentaenoic acid. EPA. And DHA, which we've all heard of.
Yes.
Those are the two components that the animal sources of omega-3 have that the plant sources do not have. And those are the two that are actually the most beneficial for mood and heart and all of that. And they don't have it in avocados or walnuts and things like the plant-based.
So when we see a lot of that, I mean, there's such a plant-based there's all these plant-based alternatives and stuff that are out there right now. So I guess we do have to be cautious in, knowing what some of the claims, it might taste good, but it might not be
right, and
give you the same benefits.
It's not bad. It's good. It's still good for you for all some of the other reasons that we talked about. But in terms of those two, the EPA and the DHA, those are, so you can only find those in like the fish and things like that.
Okay.
But you can definitely find supplements. So your omega-3 fish oil supplements. Now, they're not all created equally either.
Of course.
So do your homework. I don't have one in particular to recommend, but I do know that they're not really regulated the way some vitamins, like supplements are not necessarily regulated
Right.
as well as supplements. Or as well as vitamins.
And even some of the vitamins aren't regulated as well as they should be for how you absorb.
Yeah. So I think you just need to do your homework, and maybe I'll do some homework and we'll put it out there.
Yeah.
Let people know, maybe some. Not that we would be sponsoring anything.
No. But you know what? There's a great book that just remind me. I feel like we should share if anybody wants to know. It's called Your Vitamins Are Obsolete, and it's really good. He just talks about how to buy vitamins and what you need and using Vitamers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Vitamers.
Yes. So
What's a Vitamer?
let's table it, but we'll
Okay.
leave that on the list for next week because it's great,
Okay. Yeah, I'm very interested in that.
by a fabulous local psychiatrist.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear
So-
about that. So, anyway, those are omega-3s, and they
Okay.
are hugely important. And also, like some of the foods that have omega-3 also have vitamin D, like the fish, which is also linked to your mood. So they have definitely found that people with deficiencies in vitamin D are more prone to depression. So get your vitamin D
Yes.
any way you can.
And
And folic acid I want to talk about, because this is actually really personal to me, because I have a gene that I think my doctor said about maybe 10% or even more of the population have this gene where I cannot metabolize folic acid.
Oh,
And
no.
I didn't find this out.
how would you find that out?
Well, my doctor suspected it for some reason and did a test. It was just like an inner cheek swab, like a DNA. I bet on Ancestry or
And-
or
it
one of
might.
those, you might be able to find that out. But I have this gene, and folic acid, as we know, if you've ever had children, you know that that's really important to have during your pre-natal
Yes.
and natal
Right.
periods. So it's responsible for healthy fetal development, and it's also helps with the absorption of other vitamins and minerals. So
Right.
but there is treatment for that. If you can't get your, like I couldn't get my folic acid the way a lot of other people do, like orange juice. Let's see, what are some of the other good folic acid? I want to say leafy greens. Wait 1 second, sorry, just finding my folic. Oh, here we go. Asparagus, legumes,
Nice.
eggs, beets, citrus, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, nuts, seeds, avocados, bananas. So again, all those you'll see is like the same foods kind of keep coming up for different purposes as beneficial. But the genetic deficiency I have is called MTHFR, which kind of
Oh gosh. Well,
if you write it out and look at it, you'll know why we're laughing. But But there are supplements you can take to make your body absorb folic acid.
Oh my gosh,
So
good.
it's really an important. Well, and what they've discovered is that it's linked to depression. So deficiency in folic acid is linked to depression, and they will often pair, for people who aren't metabolizing it or absorbing it, they'll often pair a supplement of folate with an antidepressant medication. And it can help that medication work better. And some people are able to just take the supplement on its own without antidepressant medication, and it can improve the depression. So it's really important for so many reasons.
Well, and I am just looking at the time, and I know we have so much more. We have so much more to talk about.
We do.
But maybe for today, just to end, let's give just our top food list.
Okay.
And then we'll give you links and more explanations and talk about it more next week. But on our
We have
9 top foods.
9
so,
top foods. Ready?
The 9 top foods for mood. Drum roll, please. Okay, so number 1 was salmon. Or any of the fatty
mackerel,
fishes.
yeah.
Fatty fish.
Fatty fish. Number 2.
Dark chocolate. Yay.
Let's hear it for dark chocolate.
Yay. And number 3.
Number 3, fermented foods.
Fermented foods.
Let's hear it for pickles and kimchi.
And yogurt, all of those.
Yogurt.
All those good things. Bananas. Yay.
Think of a banana. Holding up to your mouth.
Oh my God, it
smile on
turns your
face.
frown
See?
upside down.
Turns
Oh my gosh.
upside down. Oats. We didn't talk about
Oh my gosh,
oats.
oats.
Just oatmeal.
Oats
Oh
are
my gosh.
amazing. And there's a recipe. If you go to the link yesterday on our Instagram, the first recipe is an oatmeal with fruit recipe. So oats.
Oats.
Okay, and then after
They help
oats,
stabilize your blood sugar, kind of regulate your blood sugar.
oh yeah, so
Keeps you helps
even.
You mood. Keeps you even.
Oh my gosh. I need some oatmeal.
We need oatmeal and berries.
Okay, and
bananas.
berries. Yay. Well, the antioxidants in berries, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
It can give your brain a burst.
Nuts and seeds.
Nuts and seeds,
So
okay.
think your walnuts, your almonds, your flaxseed, your chia seeds.
All that.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Cheers. Cheers to coffee.
It's gets you going, so you can have coffee.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a codicil of moderation in there somewhere.
Maybe just don't add sugar.
Yeah.
Or cream.
Well, I don't, but I know I still need moderation,
But
right?
Of course.
And then after coffee,
beans
and lentils.
Lentils and legumes.
Legumes.
And we're gonna have a recipe for that, for a bean dip.
Yes, which is Cindy's
delicious.
yummy, delicious bean dip that whenever she makes it, she drops them off for me.
I do, and I still
'Cause-
haven't made it in a
Oh.
while.
No,
But
but
we're
it's what
going
you
to.
do, not what you
What would I do?
don't.
to
Yes.
you?
Okay,
I'm
but
making it next week.
yay. Okay, well, seeing the time, we've got to go for now. But thank you so much for walking with us. Those of you who did, yay! Thank you.
I see. Oh,
And I know there's some fun friends with us today.
Yes, there are.
We will post this later, but thank you so much. And if we see any of you and you're in a good mood, we're gonna ask what you ate today.
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. So
feel what you
hopefully,
eat.
right? So hopefully that's some food for thought for today, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, and stay tuned because we're going to be putting some info out about our little cooking demo that we're doing next week, which should be really
Yes,
fun.
so a food list should be coming soon.
Yes.
All right, bye for now.
Bye.